so as you can see I've got a Hobao Hyper MT. This is brand new, and it has also got a brand new LRP ZR28 motor in it. I have done a few upgrades out of the box. This is obviously the Nitro version. It's Hyper MT Plus, not the Plus 2 because I didn't do a Plus 2 in the Nitro. So things I've done to it so far is obviously the engine. Unfortunately the engine won't quite mount in properly, so I have basically the pull start here is bigger and taller. It's not flush with the bottom of the crankcase like it is on the standard engine for this truck, so I've just put those metal spacers under, which I made for now out of some scrap bits of metal. I've got the CNC spur gear fitted on there. I've also got a reverse conversion kit, so it does go forward, neutral, reverse, which is done by an extra servo which is underneath. That's the one here which I've had to cut out the radio tray for because it was a bit bigger. Got the FlySky GT5 transmitter, so I've got the reverse hooked up to channel 4, stereo on channel 1, throttle on channel 2 obviously. I've kept the standard exhaust, although because both the exhaust port and the engine is sitting higher, I can't use the standard hanger, so I've got no hanger at the minute, so I'm just breaking it in on these blocks of wood. Although because I have a neutral position, I can actually let it sit on the ground, because even if the clutch bell spins and the transmission spins, the car doesn't actually go anywhere when it's in neutral, so that's pretty nice. I have got the optional wheelie bar as well, and is that it? I think that might be it. Oh, I've replaced the steering servo with a JX EcoBoost 27 kg because it's pretty slow, and the reverse servo is a 36 kg JX EcoBoost. I've still got the standard throttle servo, which is 18 kg, pretty slow. I've put a piece of fuel tubing on the brake, which you can't really see. It's just underneath the air filter there. Yeah, that piece of fuel tubing there, just to make the brake a bit more progressive. I'm running 20% nitro for the braking, but I will get some 25%. I just haven't got any at the minute. I've only got 20%, which is what I run in the Nitro MT, because obviously it's 10th scale. So, the other thing I've got as well is the CNC front chassis brace, which goes in here. I have taken that out at the minute, just because obviously with no exhaust hanger and with the electronics like this, I'm not running the car, I'm just breaking it in, so it doesn't really matter. But when I get around to bashing it, I will put that front chassis brace in so the chassis doesn't bend. The tyres on this thing are absolutely massive. They're 7 inches tall, so I think they're 4 inches wide, so they are huge. 17mm hexes. Shocks are really nice, although they don't bottom out, but that's a well-known problem with these. The body looks good as well, but I haven't got it out here. I am using this Centro engine heater to heat up the engine before I start it up. I've run basically 2 sets of the top half of the tank, and then this little bit here. Most of the fuel is in the top of the tank, so what I did was I let it get down to here, and then I filled it up again. So that's my first braking tank. You can see it's running extremely rich, obviously factory settings. So the next tank I'm going to do the same thing again once I'm just letting it cool down, then I'm going to go again. It was really easy to started second pull. It's only shut off twice while it was idling, and that's really because I'm not leaving it on while I'm running it in, because that's just wasting the battery in this and the remote. So I'm just moving the throttle servo manually, and I closed it a little bit to make it idle a little bit slower, and it shut off a couple of times. So I've just moved that back out for now. So yeah, just letting it cool off, Then I'll heat it back up again with the engine heater. The battery's charging at the minute. Put some more fuel in and I'll do a second tank at idle. It says in the manual for the engine to keep it around 70 to 90 degrees Celsius. So I'm keeping it in that kind of range with the engine heater. I think the highest it reached on that last run was about 86, so that's fine. Right, anyway, I'll see you on tank 2. So I'm just about to start the second stage of my braking procedure. I've got the engine heater on again. It's only been on for a couple of minutes. I have let it cool down fully, just waiting for the battery to charge. Got a full tank of fuel, and I've also got a block of wood with this old paint lid stuck on the top with shoe glue just to catch the oil. Right, we've finished tank number 2 idling. As you can see, the paint lid is kind of full of fuel, which is good. It did its job. However, it did kind of get everywhere as well, because the exhaust was blowing in and then it was spattering everywhere. So maybe not the best idea, but seemed to work alright. Engine seems to be doing well. It can't quite idle with the carb in its current idle position, so I do have to run it with the trim open a little bit. But once I lean it out on the low speed, it should be okay, but I'm not going to do that for another probably 3-4 tanks yet. So what I'll do is I'll probably set the idle gap just so it's about where it's trimmed to now, and then when I brake and go back to neutral, it'll be a bit of a high idle, but we can sort that out later. Anyway, that's it for now. I'm just going to give it a check over, going to let it cool down, although it's not too warm. It was about 70 degrees at the end of the run. Going to let it cool down, check the engine bolts, nothing's vibrated loose, and then I'll put the lid on the electronics area, and then I'll have to drive it around a bit, because the next couple of tanks will be about quarter throttle, just up and down a bit. I might take it to a car park to do that, I haven't decided yet, and I might just do a quick video showing you the reverse linkage, which you can probably just see under there. So anyway, I'll just get it cleaned up, and so it's a bit later on now. I've just ran the first tank where it's moved, and I checked that it went into reverse and forwards, which it does, which is great. You can see that's what came out the exhaust just while it was idling, while I was getting it started. I've fashioned these amazing ties to hold the exhaust on, which is not too bad, and yeah, it was leaving some trails as it went, because it's that rich which is crazy. Unfortunately, I've got that far through the tank. You can see there, it's not actually halfway, because it's kind of an L-shaped tank. Actually, I'll show you the back. Yeah, you can see there how much is left in. So about a third of a tank, we'll say. And the hump pack ran out of charge, so I'm having to charge it up again, but it is powering 3 servos, so not really surprising. But anyway, the engine's running really rich, so I can't wait to get it tuned, to get it going properly. It can almost stall just when you're moving forward. You have to accelerate really slowly, otherwise it cuts out. Took quite a few pulls to start this time though, I don't know why. Took about 10-20 pulls to start, so yeah, that was a bit weird, but I just gave it a bit more throttle and it fired up. Not too bad, I wasn't there for hours. Anyway, that'll be it for this one. Hopefully I can finish running it in at its current settings, and then start to tune it a little bit once the hump pack's charged tomorrow. Anyway, that's it for this one. Goodbye.